Welcome back to the channel, you guys. Welcome back to Ironclad RC. We're out here in the Ironclad shop working on our 19-inch custom hand-laid, handmade carbon fiber RC boat. Okay, I made a mold. I pulled a boat hole from the mold. We got a top side, a bottom side. I've been working on prepping the boat up for top side, bottom side joining. Okay, by the end of the video, we should have a boat. Okay, a boat ready to float. All right, I worked on the hatch. Got the hatch laid up. Got it cut to size, pulled it, and it basically fits on the boat. I used a different process when I made the hatch. I'll go over here in just a few. So stick around, you guys. Big B with Ironclad RC. So the boat's not perfect by no means, but it's something I built. I'm proud of it, and hopefully when I'm done, it'll look legit. You know what I'm saying? When I pulled the hull, I had some air pockets because I hand laid the carbon fiber, which I'm actually looking into vacuum forming, and that's something I've been wanting to learn how to do. I've basically just got to get the materials to do it, and I think it's pretty straightforward once you get the materials. So my next hole, I actually vacuum form it. But to be a hand-laid boat, it's actually turned out pretty good. It had some like air bubbles and air pockets right here on the top side. Top side had more than the bottom. So I've actually used some resin to fill my air pockets, the little voids, and I've been kind of sanding on it. Like I said, I pulled the hatch. I used some chopped up carbon fiber for my hatch on these hard corners. Because I hand laid it, and I actually just used scrap pieces for this hatch, and it actually turned out pretty good. I like the way the chopped strand carbon fiber looks on the hatch. I mean, it's not like it's not an eyesore, but it's not exactly beautiful either. But it came out good. There was no air bubbles in the part making process, so that's something to consider if I don't vacuum form in the future. So you know, like right there, I filled it with epoxy. I've been sanding on it. The bottom was actually not too bad, to be honest with you. I did have a couple of I had like a long air pocket right here, but it was actually a thin layer of epoxy like formed the strake. And what I did is I took a freaking syringe and injected that air pocket with epoxy and it worked. So so I've got a couple little ones there I need to, you know, fill out, you know, drill a little hole and fill it in and sand it, but you know, it's turning out pretty good. It's turning out pretty good. So I've been working on the flanged area around my mold, like flattening it out, because I had some like raised areas, so that once we clamp the top side and bottom side together, it'll hopefully we'll get a nice pencil seam. Off camera, like I said, I cut the hatch opening. I actually laid out a piece of carbon fiber right here. I used 2 pieces just so I didn't use up a huge piece of freaking fabric. And I didn't do the outer edge right here because once we put our like thickened hairy epoxy mix for joining on this lip, it should reinforce the outer edge of the boat. You know, I actually took a couple little strips of carbon fiber right here. I did the transom, top side and bottom side. Okay, I left it kind of rough right here so that my chop strand will kind of fit, like hold into that little area right there. You know what I'm saying? I did the same thing to the back of the boat right here. Kind of left it rough up top so that we get something to grab onto. Just wanted to kind of go through the motions. Okay, once I get my fiberglass resin mix in the seam, I actually decided to put some carbon fiber in there. I got some real like small, like microscopic hairs that I'm going to mix in with it, so it's like a darker color, not white, so we don't see the seam so bad. So once I get it all laid in there, I'm going like going through the motions, clamping my boat together. You know, I've already done it like 3 or 4 times here, you know, so I get an idea of what I need to do once I get the epoxy, because you got a limited time to work, you know. So what I'll probably do, lay the epoxy out, clamp it together for you guys on camera, and then I'm going to cut out, because the most important part, I think, is getting the top side and bottom side joined. And get it lined up correctly. So I want to really like be meticulous about it. Last thing I want to do is wake up tomorrow morning, come out here and freaking my boat's crooked. You know what I'm saying? That would be terrible. So you know, I was thinking about, you know, clamping it on the outside edge right here, but that may lift the inside edge up, so I'm gonna clamp it as close to the boat as I can. Also consider clamping the top side and the bottom side, but if I do that, it's gonna like disform the shape of the boat. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go like right there, all the way around. I don't have enough to go all the way around like every square inch, so I'm gonna have to like pick and choose where I put my clamps. I got a bunch of these, but I think if I use those heavy ones, and it's like it might tweak the hull, you know, so I'm gonna use these lightweight ones and some clothespins. Now this video series, it might not be for everybody, you know. Boat builders, we're a dying breed, you know. Back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, boat builders were a dime a dozen, boy. You could find it. Everybody had a homemade boat. You know, they were building like kneelers and hydroplanes, flat bottoms, you name it. They were building them because there wasn't no big boat building companies, you know, like one-to-one boats, you know. Yeah, we're a dying breed. We're a dying breed. You know, there's so many better options out there, but it's something about building an RC boat or a boat hull, whether one-to-one or RC, that just gets me off, you know. Yeah, it's something special. It really is. Even if it don't come out perfect, even if you get to run it for a couple months and the thing blows into 1,000 pieces, there's something special about it, you know. And I really enjoy sharing this stuff with you guys. So, you know, I'm like procrastinating still. I'm scared. God hates a coward. Let's freaking get it. So I got the clamps on. I think I got it lined up here. Well, maybe not. I'm gonna cut the camera off, okay? Because I gotta concentrate. I gotta keep my hands clean so I don't get epoxy all over the boat. And I'm actually look at there. I got the damn paintbrush on top of my freaking hatch over here. All right. So I'm gonna turn the camera off so I'm not rushing. So I got her clamped up. Okay, I got these big clamps on it. I didn't want to use them, but kind of glad I did. I got them kind of propped up so the boat's not like, so it don't warp it. Hopefully I got the boat like lined up onto itself, you know. And wish I had enough clamps to go all the way around for every square inch of it, but I may do with what I got, you know. Jeez, it looks like it's good, man. Oh man, fingers crossed, boys, fingers crossed. It's the next day. All right, let's go ahead and take all of our clamps off, and we'll see how well it was glued together. I'm pretty excited, and we really won't know how it come out until we get it all grinded out. Okay, and I'll probably not video the process of removing the outer edge. Well, I may. I don't know. I gotta have PPE on and use grinders and stuff, so I may fast forward through it. I may not. I don't know. But so far, it feels solid. I probably added some weight. A lot of that epoxy carbon fiber got squished into the lip, you know, which I'll be cutting off. I actually weighed the hole with the inlay, and it was 240 grams with the inlay. 250, well, 250, basically 249, I believe it was. Round up to 250. So I'm interested to see how much weight I added, because I went freaking nuts with the epoxy and the carbon fiber mixed up with fiberglass. You know, I really didn't want to have to go around the boat and fill any air holes and pockets. I know I will, but we'll see. We'll see. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, it's glued together all right. See this top side? Yeah. It strengthened it up. That's what I was hoping. You know, before I could push in on it right there, and it would flex a lot. Oh man, that's nice. Yes sir, yes sir. Like I said, we won't know till we cut all this off. You know, we'll expose the beauty. So I'm about to cut the edge off. I'm gonna use a cutting wheel. Okay, I'm just gonna go around the edge here. Then I'll use a flap disc to clean it up. Alright, so I got you guys in here on some light. I needed to be able to see what I was doing. I got one real bad. That's the worst spot right there. And I think whenever I put the molds together, the bottom was kind of pushed forward. You guys see that? That's supposed to be flat back there. So on the front, you can kind of see it as well. The top is a little bit back from the bottom, which is fine. You know, it's my first one. It's, you know, like I said, it's a learning experience. That's the second worst one. Okay, and basically going to take some painter's tape, tape this whole side up. Okay, I'll mix a carbon fiber epoxy, kind of runny, you know, and I'll pack some carbon fiber in here, fiberglass, and basically mix it up runny, and I'll just do that number there with the tape on it and cover that whole side, you know, and then I'll do the same thing to this side, mix it up runny, fill in that hole there, and that should fill in any little microscopic voids that I can't see with a bare eye, you know. And then I guess I'll do it the same thing on the back. You know, there's not much back here, but there's a couple, you know, there's a couple. So let's actually get a weight on it real quick before I do that. Wow, so it's about the same weight. It's actually lighter. It's lighter than it was because I cut that flanged area off. It's actually lighter than it was before I did the joining, you know, because it was 249, basically 250. I cut that flange off, and that's not bad. I'm actually really stoked about the weight. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm not gonna video it, you guys. Oh, I'm getting closer, you guys. I'm getting closer to finishing it, okay? Got all the holes filled. I've actually put it in the pool. It's 2 days later. Put it in the pool. No water leaks at all. Got all the little holes filled. I used the tape method, taped it up, and mixed up some, like, thin epoxy with a little bit of stuff in it, and taped it up, laid it on its side like that, and I got everything filled up. I pulled the tape, and I had to do a little bit of sanding, you know, reshaping type deal. I still have, you know, this was all covered, so I couldn't like fill in any of these low spots, so I'm actually going to fill the low spots next in the next video. And then I think we're going to wet sand it, compound wax it, and then wax it and buff it out to a finish. My other option is to clear coat it, you know, wet sand it, get it all filled and wet sand and clear coat it. But if I clear coat it, you know, tape may pull it off in the future and all that, so I don't think I'm gonna do that. So let's get a total weight with the hatch here, okay? Before I had to fill the little holes in the seam, it was what, 250, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So with the hatch, she weighs 314 grams with the hatch. Without the hatch, 266. So that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I added, what, 15, 20 grams of epoxy. I was real conscientious about it. But I went kind of crazy with it. And it's getting there. It's getting there, you guys. You guys have no idea the feeling, it's a carbon fiber freaking boat that I made, man. That's sick. That's freaking sick, boy. That's freaking sick. Okay, so in the future videos, we're going to be installing electronics and hardware and all that good stuff. If you're catching the video series late, I have I showed you guys how to make the mold, pull the boat, and all that good stuff. I think I'm going to pull the electronics out the rigger, okay? Just for the time being, because I really, I spent all this time building the boat. I want to see it freaking run. So I'm going to make my motor mount, get the servo installed, a rudder, and we're going to put that 3000 kV triple S motor, because we can run that motor with that 70 amp Turnigy on 3S, 4S, and 6S. Come on. And my drive line, now I think I'm going to go simple and light on this variation. Like I said in previous video, I think I'm going to make several hulls and outfit each hull differently. One will be outfitted like a 10 shock flying fish, like Echo flying fish with a submerged drive. One's going to have a surface drive. One may have a outboard. One may have an EDF type deal. Okay, so on this variation, I'm going to keep it light. Okay, because I'm ready to get it on the water. I really don't want to go with a strut. I'm thinking about using this 0.150 flex cable, 3/16 step down to an 1/8, with a Speedmaster bushing and a brass tube. Just a brass tube sticking out the back with a Speedmaster bushing. Boom. Done. Okay. All I got to do is install a rudder. You know what I'm saying? Or this little rudder. I don't even care. It ain't got to be fancy. It's a homemade boat that, like I said, I'm going to go different variations on it. So yeah, I think I'm going to go like basic, because my first variation of this boat, when it was a wooden boat, I used a 540 brush motor sitting like right here. Battery was here with my full-size standard size servo right there with a straight shaft. It had a straight shaft, and it did pretty good with a straight shaft. No turn fins, no trim tab. It had a straight shaft. So we're going to use a flex cable so we can adjust that brass tube coming out the back. And if I need to, I've got a 3/16 strut. I was actually contemplating using this 3/16 stinger right here with that little flex cable deal, and that would actually be pretty cool. That would actually be really cool. That's one of my variations. I want to put a stinger on it, but this type stinger right here would work better, I believe, over that low profile. But I've had this thing sitting around. It was on a boat. I got bushings to replace these old bushings, so that I might actually use that instead of doing the straight shaft with the Speedmaster bushing. So yeah, man, I'm gonna let you guys go. In the next video, we're gonna finish up the hull. In the following video, we'll start outfitting the boat. Okay, so thanks for watching, you guys. I'm super stoked. It's like a little ugly duckling. It's not a beautiful freaking boat, but to me, in my eyes, this thing's freaking beautiful. We'll see you guys next time. Big B with Ironclad RC.